In the midst of all the noise and activity of modern life, it can be easy to lose sight of the little pleasures that make life worth living. It is high time that we become aware of our very existence and realize that this very moment is all we have. Let's stop worrying about the future and start living in the present. A beautiful practice, mindful walking, can help us get there. When changing locations again, I hope you'll try out a new way of seeing and hearing things, one that's unencumbered by your usual mental chatter. Let go of the need to analyze and classify every fleeting thought and feeling that enters your mind. Instead, try taking on a mindless state of passive observation and careful listening. We have gotten into the habit of classifying and naming every emotion, thought, and sensation we have. We need to constantly be in either a state of liking or disliking, which keeps us at odds with the world and the people in it. On the other hand, maybe this is just a bad habit that can be changed. The truly remarkable bit is that we need do nothing to break this habit. We need only relax and let things happen naturally. When you give in to and accept reality as it is, you gain access to a more profound part of yourself. When you've reached this level, your emotional state is no longer influenced by your mental evaluations of what's good or bad. You can find profound inner peace by simply saying yes to whatever life throws at you and accepting the present moment as it is. In this place of surrender and acceptance, you will find a peace that cannot be shaken by anything happening to you. The need to constantly assess and judge fades away, allowing one to feel at peace with one's true nature. As you begin your practice of mindful walking and conscious being, keep in mind that its very simplicity is part of its appeal. Relax your mind, free yourself from complicated ideas, and soak up the glory of the here and now. Doing so will allow you to experience the extraordinary power of acceptance, leading to a profound inner peace independent of external circumstances. In this fascinating video, we take the first steps toward a life of greater ease and contentment by letting go of our attachment to outcomes and our need to control them. Let's go on an adventure to find out how being present can change us and how liberating it is to let go of our mental constructs. We get caught up in the complex web of our relationships, even as we frantically seek out calm, contentment, and independence. Like master weavers, our minds are always clutching at ideas, hopes, and fears, weaving them together into a tangled tapestry that obscures the purity of being. But suppose we could untangle this network of dependence. Imagine for a moment that we were able to let go of our preoccupation with the future and the past, and instead focus entirely on the here and now. We discover a profound truth in the very act of letting go. We find lasting contentment, pleasure, and independence once we break free from our attachments. When we're attached to something, we become fixated on getting it or keeping it, even if it means sacrificing our own happiness and sense of worth in the process. Unfortunately, despite our best efforts, we will never achieve the elusive state of contentment we seek. The acceptance of one's inherent ordinariness, however, offers an alternative route to freedom. Realizing that everything is fleeting and that clinging to the temporary leads to unhappiness is the first step. When we let go of rigid expectations, we make room for the unpredictable dance of life to take shape. The fight against one's own thoughts is an integral part of this metamorphic process. Our minds are incessantly creative, churning out ideas in an effort to interpret, analyze, and exert control over the world. But suppose we could break free of all this mental babbling. What if, instead of trying to control or suppress our thoughts, we were able to simply watch them as they came up and let them go? By adopting a stance of non-resistance, we release ourselves from the tyranny of having to fight every fleeting idea. We learn to disengage from the mind's constant chatter and instead cultivate a calm, open state of consciousness. Allowing thoughts to float by like clouds helps us achieve a level of presence that goes beyond the rational mind. By giving up clinging to the past and fighting against the present, we pave the way to a profound freedom. The purity of existence calls to us, urging us to fully engage with the here and now. This letting go leads us to an amazing realization. We can't find happiness, freedom, and serenity outside of ourselves. Let's take the plunge into this life-altering journey together. Let us untangle the ties that bind, free ourselves from the clutches of our thoughts, and lose ourselves in the infinite splendor of the present moment. By doing so, we will be able to realize the full potential of freedom and bring about positive change in our own lives as well as the world at large. The mental chatter in our heads, comprised of ideas, opinions, and interpretations, never seems to end. But what if we could observe our thoughts without letting them consume us? By becoming detached observers of our thoughts, we can free ourselves from their hold and gain access to a greater wisdom that lies beyond the bounds of our own limited perception. The incredible value of living in the present moment and fully appreciating it is revealed through this procedure. By giving one's full attention to the here and now, one can experience life at its purest. With a more open mind and heart, we start to enjoy the little things in life more. There is nothing left to do in this eternal now. There's nothing we need to do or figure out. We just have to go with the flow and see where life takes us. When we stop letting our thoughts run amok, we find an indescribable peace and harmony with the perfection of existence. When we mistakenly assume that every thought we have is true, we open ourselves up to a world of pain. We feel discontent not because of the circumstances themselves, but because of our own thoughts and interpretations of those circumstances. Once we realize this simple fact, we can put some distance between ourselves and those ideas. We come to understand that we are more than just the thoughts going through our heads. We are the silence underlying the commotion, the happiness hidden beneath the anguish. Being aware of ourselves is liberating, saving, and enlightening. To fully appreciate the luminous warmth of the present moment, we must accept life's powerful invitation to emerge from the shadows of the past and future. Let's respond to that call and set out on a journey into the here and now. Let's let go of our thoughts and give in to the glory of the present moment. Doing so opens up boundless potential for personal growth, happiness, and contentment. Getting over yourself. Acceptance of one's natural state. Putting one's pride aside is a difficult task. The willingness to let go of outcomes, identities, and a sense of control is essential. It encourages us to put our faith in the wisdom of the universe and accept the inevitable flux of life. When we let go, we find the freedom we've been seeking, the freedom from worry, stress, and dissatisfaction. We've given up on trying to stand out and instead celebrate the inherent value in conformity. Consider meditation, whose true value lies in remaining silent and focusing on the pauses between speech. Mastering the art of silence is the highest human accomplishment. The cultivation of stillness and silence within oneself is a path to wisdom. Nothing more is required of us than simple observation and listening. The true intelligence that lies dormant within us can be awoken through the practice of stillness in observation and listening. This knowledge from within can direct our actions and speech. Silence allows us to re-establish a connection with our true nature, which exists independently of our ever-changing mental and bodily constructs. Once this form dissipates, we will return to who we were before. When we accept the flaws in life as they are, we can relax and enjoy it more. When we let go of our expectations and stop trying to control everything, everyone, and everything around us, we find contentment, harmony, serenity, and peace. There are times when no amount of explanation or rationalization seems adequate. In those moments, we are encouraged to embrace the ambiguity and profound questions that lie beyond our understanding and delve more deeply into the mysteries of existence. It's a chance to stay in a place where one's mind can expand beyond its usual confines, resulting in awe. At times like these, life can seem pointless. Maybe you get a desperate message from someone and you don't know how to respond. When you finally admit that you don't know and stop trying to force answers into your narrow mind, amazing things can happen. When you let go and let a higher intelligence take control, amazing things can happen. This increased IQ can even improve your thoughts and lead to novel realizations. Being calm and accepting of uncertainty is crucial, because it is during this time that solutions present themselves. When you let go of your own internal resistance, you can access unconditioned awareness, which can move at speeds far exceeding those of the human brain. This vast mind can then communicate with the world through you, illuminating your path and bolstering you from the inside out. That's why it's common to experience progress after giving up internal resistance. Your actions will be motivated by a higher force, not your ego, because your weaker will has given way to a stronger one. This is what the Buddhists refer to as right action, and it can only come about in the right way of thinking. But you have to check your ego at the door before you can take the proper action. When you are able to rise above your ego, you make room for divine guidance to direct your every move. It's a life-altering procedure that calls for modesty, giving up, and trust. You realize that you are not your body, your thoughts, or your emotions, but rather a shapeless space of consciousness. Take a look at this instant. Take note of how the mind assigns labels and judgments, and how this leads to suffering and dissatisfaction. By becoming aware of how your mind works, you can release your habitual resistance to the world around you. A state of true deep peace, unaffected by external conditions, is revealed to you in this moment. Now take this present moment for what it is. Let go of your interpretation of the present and give in to it instead. When you surrender, you accept what you don't know and don't feel the need to figure it out. When one lets go, one's sense of identity changes. It shifts its sense of self from the emotional response or cognitive evaluation to the surrounding environment. Allow this state of pure awareness to permeate your being. Get in the habit of just watching and listening. Keep the peace and quiet within and let life unfold as it will. As we wrap up this video, I hope you'll give some thought to the life-changing consequences of surrendering to the universe's higher intelligence and letting it speak through you. Thank you for watching, and if you learned something new, I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd show your appreciation by liking and sharing this video. It's easy to lose sight of the big picture amidst the noise and confusion of modern life. We lose touch with the simple pleasures of life because our minds are always racing and because our desires can be relentless. But things needn't be this way. Achieving unbounded inner peace, joy, and freedom is possible through the transformative power of presence, releasing the ego, and appreciating the beauty of being. Mindfulness helps us let go of our judgments and attachments by forcing us to focus on the here and now. Real happiness does not come from other people's approval or from what we accomplish. When we release our attachment to our ego and its need for control, we make room for a higher intelligence and wisdom to guide our choices. In addition, the strength of ignorance and the acceptance of uncertainty can transport us to a state of awe and wonder, where the mysteries of life incite creativity rather than worry. When we accept our ignorance, we make room for a higher intelligence to work through us, resulting in better results and a deeper understanding of the world. Last but not least, the path of presence, surrender, and letting go is one that leads to inner transformation and an inner peace that is unshakable despite external disturbances. It's an invitation to get back to basics and experience the limitless wonder of the present moment again. May we, as we set out on this adventure together, discover the true nature of freedom and know the joy that comes from being in harmony with life's constantly evolving symphony.